Okay, today we're going to start with 1.3 fractional indices. So for fractional indices, you're going to encounter powers that are in fractions form. So for example, this one is slightly easier, because this is 1 over n. So the denominator in your fractions, will be represented this way. It can be expressed as, root n. So for the other one is where it gets slightly complicated. You have numerator m and denominator n, where both are integers. Okay, so what you have is actually, let me give an example. For example, if you have 2, okay, so for example, if you have 2 to the power of, say, 5 over 3, okay, you can actually write it as what we have learned in the law of indices. It can be represented this way, where you factorize out this power 5. Okay, so previously, just now, we just came across this 1 over 3. This 1/3 power just means that it goes to cube root, right? Then power 5. So it can be expressed this way. Or another way we can show this is that 2 to the power of 5 over 3, you will factorize out the power of 1/3. Okay, so 2 to the power of 5 is in the bracket, and then your power 1/3 will go outside, as cube root. So it depends. Sometimes the question asks for without calculator. So it really depends on whether is it easier to evaluate this without calculator or evaluate this without calculator. So that we'll encounter specific examples later. Okay, so for example, here, try 8, where you're supposed to evaluate the following without using a calculator. So in this case, for example, part A, oops, right. So for example, part A, you have 16 to the power of 5 over 4. So now it's a question of whether is it easier to write it this way, to the power of 5, where you factorize out the power of 1/4, such that it becomes 16 to the power of 5, and then the whole thing, by root 4. So do you think you can do 16 to the power of 5 without calculator? Even if you can, you're very good at mental calculation, we deem it as impossible for the majority, so don't try this way. What you're supposed to do is, there's another way. 16, you leave your 1/4 inside and you factorize out power 5. So this way, what you have in your bracket is root 4, 16, the whole thing to the power of 5. Now root 4, 16 will be much easier, which is actually 2, right? 2 to the power of 4 is 16. And then 5, power 5. So this one is easier to do by mental calculation without calculator. You get 2 to the power of 5, you get 32. Okay, so this is what we mean by without using calculator. So for 8b, again, either you do it this way, 125 to the power of -4, and then you bring out 1/3. Okay, now this is actually 1 over 125 to the power of 4 to the power of 1/3, right? And we know that 125 to the power of 4 is quite impossible to do without a calculator. So that's why usually we will leave the denominator. So this is not the correct way. So usually what we'll do is we'll leave the denominator inside. So we have negative 1/3. Then we bring out the 4. Okay, so what this means is 1 over 125 to the power of 1/3, right? To remove this negative is just 1 over the whole thing to the power of 4. And this 125 to the power of 1/3 is just cube root 125. Okay, and this whole thing to the power of 4. Now cube root 125 is easy. Cube root 125 is actually just 5. Actually, if you during test no one's gonna know, you can just key in the calculator to double check your answer. But as a general knowledge, you should know that cube root 125 is 5. Okay, to the power of 4. Now 1 over 5 to the power of 4 means 1 to the power of 4, which is still 1, and 5 to the power of 4 is, let's see, I think it's 625. Okay. Try 9. Simplify the following and express your answer in positive index notation. So over here, okay, 9a is a bit simple. Let's do 9b. So for 9b, you always forget to press this. Okay, for 9b, you have x to the power of 3 over 2, y to the power of negative 4, divide by x to the power of 5 over 3, and y to the power of negative 9 over 2. Okay, so divide means minus, right? Minus the power. Okay, so what you have is x to the power of 3 over 2 minus away 5 over 3, and y to the power of negative 4 minus away negative 9 over 2. So 3 over 2 minus 5 over 3, you will have negative 1 over 6. And y, so negative 4 plus 9 over 2, you will get half. Okay, but this is not in positive index notation. So you can change them all to, now this is 1 over x to the power 1 over 6, right? To remove this negative, times y to the power of half. You don't want to leave it like that because it's really, really not elegant. So what you do with this 1 over 6 power, this fractional indices here, we'll change it to root 6, and this will change to square root y. So combine them together, root y in the numerator and root 6x in the denominator.